Hi, we're going to make a hand line or a trolling line so we can fish and tie this off the back of the boat whilst still sailing. Things to need is a spear fishing bungee. These are incredibly strong, 1 meter length. Build it to the size that you want. So I'm building this to a 200 pound or 100 kilogram breaking strain. So that's 2 swivels at 200 pounds. Braided cord, which is going to go inside the bungee. That's rated at 200 pounds. And then belt and braces, because this is the belt and braces hand line. I think that's what I'm going to call it. This is going to go around the outside, and this is actually rated at 500 kilograms. So those are the parts you'll need. Over here are the tools you'll need to help you. So that's the cord we've already cut to size. That's the inner cord. Obviously a knife, chopping board, pair of pliers, and some petroleum jelly. I did leave out one thing there, and that's some wire, fairly sturdy wire that we can thread down the inside of the bungee. So that's what the Vaseline's for, or the petroleum jelly. So a little squeeze of that into the top of the bungee, just to help the wire go through. Okay, try and straighten that out as much as you can to make life easier. And basically just push and twist. Don't force it, just push and twist. Through at both ends. So, a small loop on the end to get a loop off the cord, the braided cord that we're going to send through. Okay, there's your loop. Pinch that tight. Wipe off the excess petroleum jelly and lid on so we get told off. And basically we're going to pull that through now, pull that back through, and just going to pull a line in. There we go, we're started. We're through. And there we are. I'm going to use a uni knot here. So we loop around, we create our big 6. Now this is 200 pound cord, like I said before, braided line. So 4 turns around, 2, 2, 3, 4 turns around is good. That's sufficient for such heavy duty line. And just pull that knot in. Wet it down as you do. To stop it overheating and to lubricate the knot as it pulls down. That's pretty solid. Right, there we go. Trim off the excess. And the easiest way to do this now is to stand on it and pull it up. Wrap the braided line around your foot. Make sure you've got some sturdy footwear. And then you can pull up on the bungee until the swivel just goes inside, and as we pull, we just want to see that top loop that will be just protruding a bit more. And what we're left with is just that top loop coming out just at the end there. Perfect. So that's one end secure for the inner side of the bungee, but the belt and braces is the outside. So we're going to secure this. So this braid is going to be tied at one end and then right the way through to the other end, and it's going to measure exactly the stretched length of the bungee. To tie the constrictor knot, you wrap it round one turn and then the second turn, then you bring it round the standing line and then feed it back under where it crosses over. And then you bring that knot, just tidy it up, and you bring that knot to the outside of the swivel so that the swivel can't pull through the knot. Now I'll show you with some pliers how we're going to do this. I'm just going to pull and pull. But to really secure this down, I'm going to go and use the vise. So there's our tight constrictor knot, and you can see how tight that's got now. And there's no way that that swivel can go past that knot. This is incredibly solid. So we need to be able to pull this through now. So the inner core needs to go through, and the only way we can do that is to pull and stretch the bungee as far as we can. So we need something really solid to tie this to. The only thing I can think of is the tow bracket on my car. So off we go. To the back of the car. I wouldn't be any kind of a sailor if I wasn't going to use a bowline. So loop in the line, up, round the back, back down. There's your bowline. Pretty solid. Okay. As you can see, I've got my little helper, and we pull. And as we pull through, and if we mark it there with our big 6, and we'll thread it down. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to make this 5 turns. Belt and braces, belt and braces. And we'll just pull that nut down. Wet it, as we do, and then pull on the knot. It comes down and it's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And we are solid. My little helper's not being much help, is she? Okay, so we're pulling on this now. This is going to pull into the bungee. And it's pulling in beautifully. And it's there. There we are. This end of the line, which was tied to the car, I've used 4 loops coming through there because it's very, very, very tight. I've pulled the swivel a bit too far through, but that's okay because it won't come out basically. So that I've secured to this paracord. So we're going to tie a bowline in this, and that will be a secure knot to tie to the boat. At the other end, we're going to do another constrictor knot on this end here, and that is our belt and braces inside and outside, round twice, cross over around the first line, standing line, around the standing line, and pull it down, and then as close to the end as you can get it to make sure you grab onto that swivel. Test it with the pliers just to line it up. Okay, I'm just going to go and finish that off on the vise. So we're making a bowline now just to secure this to the back of a boat, and then you can extend it with a shackle or a line which you've got tied, whichever way you want to go. So a bowline, quite easily, it's a loop. The standing line always goes at the bottom end of the loop, and then your tail, or the rabbit if you like, comes out of the hole around the back of the tree and back down the hole, and there is your bowline. You can see when it's successful because you've always got a loop at the bottom and a loop at the top, and as you pull that, it is absolutely rock solid. Sailors will support their entire weight on the strength of a bowline going up the mast. So we have the secure bowline on the end of there, absolutely solid as a rock. We're going to tie our rig to there, whatever lines we're going to put on the back of the boat. We're going to normally talking about two boat lengths, so you're looking something around 40 to 60 feet, which would be 12 to 24 meters behind the back of the boat, and that's where you're trawling your lines. Good luck with your fishing. One last thing to say is make sure that you're wearing heavy duty gloves, because when you're pulling these lines in and you've got a fish on, and you need to be pulling them a line and a line and a line and over like that. Worst case scenario, if a bigger fish gets hold of your fish, then you've got an awful lot of weight on the other end of your tackle. So make sure you're wearing heavy duty gloves to protect your hands. Good luck with your fishing.